So you also had a big cipher with Big L, right?
Yeah, well, I don't know about big. I just talked to Open Mike about this the other day. It was Big L was there, Curious George was there, and L was already like people were already treating him like a star. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't even have a conversation with the guy. Plus, I was intimidated.
What year are we
talking? 94. It must have been 94.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe 94, maybe 95. I don't know. Maybe it was 95. But he was already a star at that point, man. He was already like, everybody was like, yo, L, boom, boom, boom. But at least I got to spit in the cipher that he was at. And, you know, I think Curious George was at that cipher too. It's interesting getting old too, like some of the details about who was there and who wasn't there. Being that so much time has passed, like 30 years passes, right? 30 years is fucking crazy, bro.
Exactly.
And Open Mike and I talk all the time, and we'll go over stories, and I'll be like, yeah, this guy was here. And Mike's like, what? Oh, shit, I didn't remember that guy was, are you sure? And I'm like, I'm positive. And then Mike will be like, this happened with this person. And I'm like, no, that person wasn't there. He's like, oh, yes, it was. Look, we got a picture of it. And I'm like, what the fuck? So it's interesting trying to remember in a time period where you don't have one of these, you know what I'm saying? Right. You don't have a smartphone to capture every fucking moment. We had disposable fucking cameras, you know what I'm saying? Like, so we would try the best we could to get snapshots, but the ciphers out in Harlem were some of the best times, man, and totally shaped and shifted and changed and fine-tuned who I am as a MC.
How was his reaction to what you spit in that cipher?
Just, I mean, regular shit, like, okay, you know, word, that's dope, you know. and I wasn't as wild back then either. I was pretty good.
Right.
But it wasn't, you know, OD me in my peak form, you know what I'm saying? But
it
was
talking,
just
you're like 15, 16 at the time.
Yeah, 15, 16 years old. And these guys are like, all right, what's up? That's what's up, you know. That's it. Just and everybody's just being like that anyway. So
right. The epic radio freestyle with you and Sage Francis, Slug, and Blueprint.
Who else would you say?
Slug and Blueprint was there too, right?
No, those guys weren't there. It was just me and Sage. Maybe you heard some mashed up shit that's a fan made.
Oh, okay,
something.
yeah, maybe, yeah. But for sure, I know Sage. It was you and Sage, and it's like the epic thing that's like back and forth. He ends up putting it on like one
Rapping
of his tapes
Apathy.
later.
Yeah,
right,
yeah. Last time I saw Sage, we were at the same playground. He lives near me, and every time I run, I love running into him. Man, he's a fucking beautiful guy, beautiful human, and we also connect over being dads. And last time we saw each other was at a playground where we bring our kids to play.
Right, I saw that.
We were just talking about dad stuff mostly, you know what I'm saying? Which is hilarious, you know? But it's funny how things come around.
It's the funny thing about that freestyle is that he says, like, I saw an interview with him. He said years later, he was like, it really wasn't that great, but it was the chemistry between you guys going back and forth and that you guys kept on going that made it so great.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that's what it was though. That's what it felt like. That was the bottom line of what you had to do. It was just like sparring. You know what I'm saying? It was like steel sharpens steel. It was just us staying slick on what we always did. It was the baseline. Like you couldn't be a sucker and be half-assed. You had to at least have that baseline foundation. And it was just us fucking around. And yeah, we weren't saying anything good, man. You know what I'm saying? I said, throw MCs back. He goes, Sage Francis rapping with Apathy. And I come in and go, throw MCs back where the scrap should be. It's just whatever. You know what I'm saying?